Hello and welcome to the Worldwide People's Championships. This is the qualification round for under 1100. The winner of this will play Greenio, who is the current champion. We'll see how many of these qualifying rounds I can fit into this video. We'll at least see two. Scoot, great name, inspired by Lucian's recent cast. Scoot as Aeon. Appears to be a 6 Gen second air build, taking on Knorpsel, player we've seen a few times in tourneys here and there. In terms of global ratings, a bit of an advantage for Knorpsel. Of course, this whole tourney is based on 1v1 ladder ratings, because the global ratings you can only really see in this game or in the lobby when they're really rounded. The ladder ratings, you can go ahead and look at the ladder. Cybern versus Aeon. This is a tough call. Which faction is better? Unless the changes have been made to Aeon, I think Aeon is at a disadvantage. But Aeon do have some significant advantages here and there, especially with Aurora. Looks like a pretty big land spam, which you would expect in open palms. Big land spam as well for Cybern. But the quickness of Cybern should give an advantage to Knorpsel in the early Tech 1 stage. I think in the later Tech 1 stage, the Auroras should dominate. Also, one thing about Aeon on maps like this, their Tech to Air is extremely potent. And Tech to Air with gunships and mercies can be a game ender. Second air from Knorpsel. It looks like identical build orders, except Knorpsel also throwing in a couple extra pigeons, a very early pigeon making engineer. Let's see how that works out for him. Scoot has already got 3 factories, so Knorpsel only getting Hydro with a single engineer. This is where this engineer should be helping to finish that Hydra instead of making pigeons. Not the best choice there. Auroras looks like they already got some kills, so good defense. Whatever Knorpsel killed, yeah, I'll slow it down so I don't miss too many things like that. In terms of the first air, we're seeing first bomber from Scoot, first bomber from Knorpsel. See if Scoot, if he watches Lucian play, he will probably play quite well. Looks like, oh no. One of the worst things that can possibly happen to you when you're playing Supreme Commander is if your girlfriend comes home. Yeah, the key next step once your girlfriend comes home is don't let her know just how pissed off you are. That will get you in even more trouble. You really got to minimize it. You got to retreat, finish the game, say all the right things. Don't piss people off. It's a very dangerous situation, so I feel for Knorpsel. Second, oh yeah. I can blame his girlfriend for that horrible miss, but that's alright. You got an excuse. Let's see, fourth land coming up for Scoot. The bomber for Scoot did a very good job. So a lot of recovery for Knorpsel, who is a bit behind. Knorpsel way ahead on power, which he's wasting in very large amounts. In terms of expansion, Knorpsel SCU is a little quicker. We see absolutely no rating in the back for Scoot. However, his bomber did quite a bit of damage, shutting down the production. And what will happen now is the total number of land units will really be in Scoot's favor. Thing about Scoot, he just kind of builds up a nice force and might be a little slow at actually moving out and killing things. And looking from Scoot's perspective, see the scout, there are a lot of spaces here which are not protected, especially right around the ACU. Good looking raider for Knorpsel. In terms of expansion, there's absolutely nothing to the top, which is a big disadvantage, which will turn into an advantage in mass for Scoot, as Scoot is expanding in both directions. Yeah, that's something about open palm. Sometimes it's very hard to understand why you lost, and it's something as simple as how quickly you expanded and whether or not your expanding engineers died or not. So be a good looking raid from Knorpsel, a bit of an air fight. And see what Knorpsel's AC does after this factory. Not much more, but a good raid. And Knorpsel actually somehow ahead on mass. Scoot must have no power problems. Interesting. Yeah, and never, after a successful attack like that, you want to take those Manta and run them in all different directions. Make that force feel a lot bigger than it really is. In terms of reclaim, definitely an advantage to Scoot. And yeah, hopefully these NTs, yeah, they'll realize they shouldn't be sitting on the ground. And maybe some bad micro from Scoot. No, bad micro from Knorpsel as well. Tech 2 mask extractor upgrades, nope. Scoot does not have engineers working on power spam. So, yeah, here's the power stall. Knorpsel, on the other hand, looks like he's finally using up his power. So his economy is much better. And once, yeah, he's going to get this Hydra as well, which will be great. So once Knorpsel gets both these Hydras, he's going to have a lot of excess power. He can even think about making a couple more air factories. You don't want to get stuck into that regime where you're just stuck in one air factory. When you do have all that power, like Knorpsel does, make 2 or 3 air factories, and when you're facing Aeon bombers and jesters, they will absolutely dominate. And very thin on land, you can see for Knorpsel. That's what happens when you have less land factories. Although it looks like Scoot, yeah, he stopped. And this is another thing that happens. When you realize you're power stalling, your instinct is to start spamming power. And when you start spamming power with such a large force, you power stall even harder because it costs a lot of power to do that. The main thing is to pause your air factory and maybe not put so many engineers in the power spam. We'll have to keep an eye on Scoot's economy. So far, Knorpsel definitely in a superior economy, even though he does not have map control. In terms of total mask extractors, Scoot has the advantage. And this point defense will be finished, which will be critical. No Artie here, so those Auroras should be shredded unless they're careful. And good move from Scoot, walking around the ACU and leading with a Scoot. Yep, Scoot. Did he rename that, or no? That's just his name, Scoot. I got confused. And a Jester, great. Knorpsel with a Jester. The unit I was calling for. We'll have to keep an eye on how many kills that Jester gets. So yeah, this Jester's gonna get shot by NTs unless it gets saved. I would hate to see this Jester die. Will it be saved? There's still one NT left. It was extremely close. And a massacre, we are seeing 9 Auroras. Should be 9 kills for this PD unless something crazy happens. Tech 2 land is completed for Scoot. He quickly goes to Tech 2 power. So riding the power style to a T2 P-Gen, that's an interesting way to deal with it. As soon as he's done with that, he's going to have more power than he'll know what to do with. One way to use up that power is to upgrade the ACU or spam a lot more air. So far, Knorpsel has been dominating air, but his micro has been lacking. That's not what you want to see, this NT getting free shots. Tech 2 mask extractors for Knorpsel. Yep, nice. And Tech 2 air coming up for Knorpsel. Not sure if I agree with that, but that could be interesting. And Scoot now with a significant air advantage. We'll see what he does. Pretty big assist on the air factory. Tech 2 land factory going straight to Tech 3. Did I see a single Tech 2 unit except for the Tech 2 engineer? Scoot, extremely aggressive with the teching. Tech 3 land is what he's going for, and Harbies on this map, especially when you get him before your enemy's Tech 3, are going to be absolutely deadly. Yeah, middle 11 on open palms is pretty early for Tech 3 land. We'll see. Scoot, well, he can definitely afford it. Doesn't look like he's been upgrading at all. And actually, in terms of mass income, they're pretty similar. Yeah, this move to Tech 2 did not make sense because Knorpsel wasn't really upgrading power. The move to Tech 2 air from Scoot would have made total sense. You really have to anticipate what you're going to do with your P-Gens. 9 kills, 1 kill for the Auroras. A lot of reclaim, potential reclaim for Knorpsel. That's where the engineer should have hidden, but I think it's right there. Should have stayed away. A rather large force from Knorpsel. I think he could take that and run everything over on Scoot's side, except I'm sure his girlfriend is preventing him from thinking straight, so he's got an excuse. And we're actually seeing a turnaround in terms of total land unit numbers. Advantage for Knorpsel. That's really because a lot of mass going into that Tech 3 land factory. Something we can look at. It's the HQ for Tech 2 is 800. What's the HQ for? Guess you can't see it now, but it's about 2,000 to 3,000. So basically something like 50. Something like this whole land force is the cost of the Tech 3 land HQ. And this Tech 2 gunship, will it even get a single kill before it dies? It did not. A big waste, 200 mass wasted. However, there is this push coming in. Does Scoot have the wherewithal to know that this is happening? He definitely knows now. He can, yeah, I think he's in position to sandwich this force. This force needs to go ahead and kill this force first and then come in and kill this one. It does not want to get sandwiched. The ACU for Scoot also making his way across, as the first Harvey should be out just in time for this assault. And Knorpsel not microing. This is a big lost opportunity. I think the Harveys won't even be necessary. Much better positioning from Scoot. Yeah, lost opportunity. There's still a few Knorpsel's units running around. See what he does, and that's a Tech 2 transport flying by. That's gonna get shot at, but this will be a pretty good drop if he drops right there. Interesting, neither player taking the top ledge. Oh, it's an expensive unit that takes the transport. Oh, horrible. However, what we're seeing now is Knorpsel is an advantage in terms of mass, because these attacks were successful. He did leave a lot of reclaim just to... Yeah, nice line. The battlefield. Scoots all over that with multiple engineers, so he's going to be reclaiming. And from that reclaim, he's going to be making... See, those reclaim numbers should be skyrocketing. He's going to be making Harveys. And where are these initial Harveys? I see one Harvey. I see another Harvey. Still has no kills. The Auroras are stealing the kills from the Harvey. And Knorpsel hoping to snipe. Whenever you see 3 of these, you know it's going to be for a snipe. 2 of them will do 1200 damage, so if it's a stock ACU, would actually be enough to hit him with just 2 missiles. He would die. 3 is to make sure, just in case there are upgrades or veterancy and things like that. You hate to get a successful snipe and leave the enemy ACU with a few hundred health. Harvey in the middle, finally getting a couple kills. The second Harvey still not doing anything. This will be critical to see if Knorpsel can overcharge. He's got the power storage, but he does not have the power. The move to Tech 2 air here, I think, was a big mistake. He just could not afford that. And given that he's power stalling like this, I think there's already 1 missile loaded. This could be a slow upgrade. It appears now we have 4 Harveys, which are going to be looking at Knorpsel's position. They definitely don't know that Knorpsel doesn't have the power. There is a T2PD from Knorpsel, and the T2PDs, especially for Cyber, not a lot of DPS. When you're in this type of situation, T1PDs are actually better. And interestingly, Tech 2 flak here, this is where you need to overcharge. If you can't overcharge, you gotta blame your girlfriend. Yeah, Knorpsel in a very bad spot. Harveys, 375 DPS, something along those lines. You can see that DPS is pretty high. Knorpsel is dead. Scoot is gonna play Greenie on a best of 5 for the under 1100 Worldwide People's Championships title. Hopefully people enjoy this one. I'll try not to forget to look at the stats at the end. So mass in, advantage for Scoot early on, but then yeah, this is a back and forth in terms of mass. I think in terms of energy, you can see there's the Tech 2 PGen. And yeah, if you wanted to make Tech 2 air, as Knorpsel did, he needed to be in this type of situation, whereas the derivative of this curve, yeah, you can see, if you look at the derivative, you can see that almost no power was made at all for Knorpsel. Also for Scoot, After that T2 pigeon, he didn't make any power, just a straight line. Also, this has no negative slope either. Yeah. Alright, so total kills. Yes, that's not that interesting. See what the wasted mass wasted. It's good, absolutely none. Blame them. Wow, there's a lot of mass wasted for Knorpsel. That's definitely the girlfriend effect. Energy wasted. Knorpsel power stalling a lot of the game. This is about 5% in there, or oh, it's even less. Whatever. I can't think currently. It's about 20%. All right, so let's move on to the next game.